Hello, thank you so much for joining me for this Jumpstart Your Life Power Talk. I would like to talk to you today about the power that I know resides inside of each of you. I know sometimes we can find ourselves stuck in the midst of our trauma, but I'm here to tell you that does not have to be your lot. Your trauma does not have to define you, but it can be a stepping stone to propel you and push you forward. You see, over 20 years ago, I found myself in a hospital room battling from mental illness. This was a very dark place and time in my life. I was scared, I was lonely, and I was very confused. I can recall not knowing who to trust during those times, if anybody truly cared about me. You see, eventually I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, depression, and bulimia. During this time, everything was like a daze for me. I could not see straight. And for one entire year after that, I battled daily with suicidal thoughts and panic attacks. On a personal level, I can tell you, in and of myself, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand how I got into this place. I remember taking the medication, and on the medication, either I was asleep all day, and when I was awake, I literally walked around like a zombie. So many thoughts racing through my mind. I was wondering if life was really worth living during those times and years in my life. I also used to question, would there ever be some real normalcy again in my life? You know what it was. At times, though, I also wonder, how did I get here? I'm in my early 20s, and yet I'm battling with mental illness. I literally am on medication. I'm going to see a psychiatrist. How could this be my lot? What did I do to deserve this? And as I began to ponder these particular thoughts, life was just like a whirlwind. Eventually, as I'm on the medication and going to see the psychiatrist, I did get better. But even in getting better, I still had so many questions. I wondered, why me? Why this breakdown? Especially now in my life. I was in my 20s during those times in those years. I can recall, just the fact that my mom also had battled with mental illness. When she was 18 years old, she was diagnosed herself with schizophrenia and manic depression. My mom lived her life, all of her life, in that mode. She never broke through the fact that mental illness did not have to be her way of life. She died in that state. I also can recall during those years how when I was a teenager, my dad had spoke some words over me that no teenager should ever have to deal with. He literally told me that I would not be anything in life and that I would grow up to have a bunch of babies. Although he was angry and mad, that still wasn't something that you should tell a child. I remember playing it constantly over and over and over in my mind. Feeling worthless, feeling like I was a nobody, feeling like I was nothing in life. And you know what? That truly became a self-fulfilling prophecy for me. I walked around like nothing, like I had nothing to offer anybody. My life was not great. What was the use of me truly living? I remember during those years how I was so confused and discombobulated, not only in my soul, but in my spirit. Things began to happen, all sorts of things. I don't even think I have enough time to tell you everything that I experienced in life. But I can tell you one thing, that even those words about me just sitting up having a bunch of children, they literally became a reality for me. I love all of my children dearly. I have 4 children, but they're all out of wedlock. I'm just helping you to understand the power of the mind and how people can speak words over your life. And if you play it over and over and over in your head a lot, you will begin to fulfill that very thing that people have spoken over you. I recalled all the failed relationships that I had experienced in life, and how even I got into the drug game because I was so steeped into poverty in the natural and also in a mindset. I wondered at that moment that people now will take notice of me, anything to gain attention. And you know what? People did start taking notice of me, but it was for all the wrong things and in all the wrong places. One minute in my life, I felt like I was on top of the world. And the next minute, my whole world came crashing down when I found myself in a mental hospital, battling for my mind. You see, I looked for my identity in all the wrong places. For years, this was my thought pattern, my thought process. I remember while being in the hospital that the doctors told me that this was the way that I would be for the remainder of my life. All they did was prescribe medication and they sent me to a psychiatrist. And you know what? I did both. I took the medication as well as saw a psychiatrist. I can tell you those days were not at all days of joy for me. But nevertheless, this actually connected me to my faith-based community. And thank God that it did, because they really began to gather around me and they really began to speak life over me, something that I didn't know and something that I never had. Many of you may find yourself in those same situations where you're needing somebody to speak life over you, to let you know that your life truly has meaning and that you can jumpstart your life again. So many times our trauma can come in and just hit us to the point where we fall down. But I tell you, you don't have to stay down. I'm a living witness that you can get up from any place, any spot in your life. All you have to do is shift your mind. People does not have to truly define who you are. You're defined who you are by who your creator declared that you would be. And this is where my faith-based community helped me. They helped me to see the true power that literally resided on the inside of me. And that the words that somebody else spoken over my life did not have to be my lot. And I present that to you today. Many of us struggle mightily with words that somebody else have spoken over us, or things that we have even thought about ourselves. One of the things that I really pride myself on these days is not taking no, can't for an answer. I try to take can't out my verbiage altogether. I truly can do all things that I set my mind to do. And I'm here to tell you, you're able to do all things too, but you have to shift your mind to believe. I also can recall not only helping to jumpstart my own life, but also I found two of my daughters in a hospital room, helping them to jumpstart their lives as well. One battled with bipolar and depression. She also became a cutter after she was raped by 3 different guys. The other one was in a hospital room because of domestic violence. I know it sounds horrific, trust me. But I'm here to tell you today we're all doing well. I had to help them to shift their minds to think that greatness was on the inside of them, and that their current situation did not have to be a place where they stayed and dwelled in. See, they were able to literally jumpstart their lives just by jumpstarting their minds. So many of us live in a state of mind that caused our natural state to be dysfunctional. But I understood and knew that did not have to be the way that we lived. And so I thank God that he sent people around me to help show me the greatness that was down on the inside of me, that I may also present this greatness to others. You see, my daughter who was in domestic violence, she's now a nurse, doing very well. Then the daughter who had been raped and she became bipolar and depressed, she's a pharmacist assistant. They're all living above the circumstances that they found themselves in. we understand the power that truly resides down on the inside of us. You know, and so during these times of COVID-19, it just got me to thinking. So many people are still battling mentally, especially now, due to job losses, loss of loved ones, business shutdowns, you name it. They have said that domestic violence have increased, child abuse have increased during this time. And I knew that I could not stand by and just do nothing. Do you know, statistics are saying that 1 in 4 women are battling with domestic violence every single day. 1 in 10 men, they're dealing with suicidal thoughts. This should not be. Now understand something, these particular things was already going on in our society, but we just always turned the deaf ear to it so many times. But now since COVID-19, things are on the horizon. Now things are getting more notice. One of the things that I would like to tell you is COVID-19, when it hit America really hard back in March of this year, people began to experience things that they had never experienced before. Stress levels was to the roof. Fear was at an all-time high. People were scared to go out of their doors. People were scared to do this. It's like the fear that hit the land just caused people to be immobilized. And so as I began to ponder these particular things, it hit me. You have to do something. And this is what led me to open up my mind management school. I wanted to be an empowerment for other people who not otherwise know how to really jumpstart their own lives. So my mind management school was started back in May of this year. I wanted to assist people and help them to understand the greatness that really resided on the inside of them. You see, this allows me to literally offer hope to other people. People need a lifeline thrown to them, and that lifeline is a lifeline of hope. So many stay in a state of despondency and despair. Oh my goodness, the statistics are through the roof right now. And I want you to know that greatness resides in you. You don't have to allow these things that go on in life to really define who you are. You're great. No matter what curveball has hit you, there is truly greatness on the inside of you. Again, a few things that you need to take out of your vocabulary is can't, won't, all of those particular things that brings about a negativity. One of the things we have to do is really allow the universe to work for us. The universe will work for you if you know the verbiage you need to understand in order for the universe to produce for you. See, one of the things that I came to understand is that we are producers. We produce the world around us. Whatever you speak in the atmosphere, you create around your world. It's time for us to really cause the vortex of our lives to be something that will be conducive to success and not failure. So many people believe that they are failures. And one of the things that I say to people, a failure is somebody that does not get up after they have failed at something. See, you're not a failure. Many of us fail at things, but it does not make us a failure. And so this is what I do in my mind management school. I help people to shift their minds so that they can really understand the greatness that resides on the inside of them. It is my desire that you make it. So do me a favor, go to sharmeepret.com and sign up for this free empowerment Zoom call. We are building an Overcomers Tribe, a community of people that understands your pain and even understand some of the struggles that you may experience in life. We want you to be a part of our tribe. We understand that many people don't know the difference between self-esteem and God esteem. Self-esteem defines you based on the things that you have. God-esteem defines you based on the power that works on the inside of you. Self-esteem puts limitations on you. God-esteem tells you the skies is the limit for you. And we understand and know that the skies is truly the limit. You see, when I was in that hospital room over 20 years ago, no one could tell me that I will be where I am today. But I had a tribe of people together around me to help produce the greatness that's on the inside of me. And that's what you need. Because many times we can't see because of the blinders and the trauma that sets forth in our life. I know that there is greatness residing on the inside of you. And I'm here to just push you a little further into that greatness. So again, go to my website, charmiepratt.com. As I close, I leave you with this. All birds with wings can fly, but the only bird that can soar is an eagle. And you know what? I choose to believe that you're that eagle.